This is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. Hey, today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, which is sales. All right. We got a really cool subject, and I think it's very entertaining, so let's go ahead and get to it. Our subject for today is selling products, how to overcome objections and price objections. Wow. Objections. First off, objections are not a bad thing. If customers have objections, that means they're listening to you. If they have objections, all you have to do is just reroute those objections. And if they're bringing that up, it's probably important for you to listen. You want to go ahead and not take objections lightly. It's a buying signal. It really is. If they say the price is too much, because a lot of times they won't even say that. They just won't say, "Oh, I'm just not interested." And you got to ask, is it price? And look them in the eye and say, or is it cost? And they'll look at you, what do you mean price or cost? Price means what they're looking at and what they're going to have to spend. Cost is what it's going to cost them over the time that they own it. Now, if you have a product that's really, really good and you can break it down for the customer, you can overcome that objection very easily, price. Now, if you can also give them more benefits and they can weigh that with the money they're going to have to invest or spend, they're more inclined to buy from you. And the reason being is because, hey, listen, they want to buy stuff. People just don't want to be sold stuff. My name is Gary Lee Stanley. I've been in sales since the 80s in some form or capacity. I love the good, the bad, and the ugly, warts and all. But I am going to tell you the truth. Objections can be very beneficial. Because if they have objections, that means they've been listening to you. And if you can help them see that the reason why the objection is important and it matters to them, and you don't just ignore it. Because listen, people don't want to be ignored. They want to be heard. They want people that are salespeople to give them information on why they should buy. And if your customer is giving you a lot of objections, that's real good. Don't get scared because, see, you'll get a lot of the same objections every time. Every time you talk to a customer, they may give you an objection. But if you can walk them through the process and overcome simple objections, you can kick butt and sell something. And if you get the same objections and you're having a hard time overcome, research, get your mentors in play, get people who can help you to overcome, and write those objections down because, believe it or not, you're probably going to get it again. Objections don't mean you're not going to get a sale. I get objections all the time. Oh, you said this. Oh, what'd you say? You said what? I don't want to get that price. I don't want to do this. I don't want to buy that because of blah, blah, blah. It's just a ruse. It's an excuse to not have to say, okay, I'll go ahead and take it. Because, see, customers, they're very, I don't want to say prideful, but they've been, if you're especially in your 30s, 40s, 50s and up, you've probably had a lot of people take advantage of you in some form of capacity in some type of sell. It's the truth. My name is Gary Lee Stanley. Selling is a great career. But we have to say to ourselves, well, if I have objections, maybe I need to study. Maybe I need to learn the basics so that way I can overcome the objections that the customers are giving me. I've had customers say, they may not say that it's the price, but see, if you ask them, is it the price? And be quiet. Just ask that question. They'll either say yeah or no, or they'll come up with something else. Now, what you got to do is get that price thing out of the way. Now, that means not you've given your presentation. Don't talk about price at the beginning of your presentation. That's going to kill you. What you got to do is you got to build the customer's confidence in why they're having a conversation with you. You got to help them see the value. If you've got, like, say, for instance, I don't know, a car, you're not going to say, look, this is the car. You're going to break it down for the customer. You're going to show them all the features, the benefits, and they're going to be like, damn, they're going to rub their chin or they're going to rub their hands together. They're wanting to buy. And they may have an objection of the price. And then once you get to that point, you have to be honest about price. You never want to hide why the customers should not buy or what they should do. You got to be straightforward with the customers because they really are more sophisticated today than they've ever been. Customers, they want to buy stuff. Think about yourself. What are your objections when you go to buy stuff? Is it price? Is it affordability? Will it fit in your budget? Is it color? Is it texture? Is it just a mirror of a lot of different things? Objections are our friends. They're not our enemies, guys. I've had some people say, man, they got so many objections I couldn't sell because, you know what? The reason why you couldn't sell is because a lot of times you didn't say to the customer, that objection sounds really important, or maybe you wouldn't say it like that, but you know what? You just say to them, is that what's really important to you? And they'll say, yeah, it is important to me. Well, you know what? I understand. Most of my customers have felt the same way in the past. So my simple job today is to help you to feel comfortable with your investing. And by helping the customer relax, and you're not just saying, well, that's not important, what they had to say, and you acknowledge the objection. You say, yeah, I can understand. Some of my customers in the past, they felt the same way. And you know what? What you're doing is you're saying to the customer, I heard you. I hear you. What you say matters and you are important. Listen, they don't want you to just rush through the objection and not give it time to give a good answer. They want the objection answer because that's a buying signal. If they're throwing up objections, they're wanting somebody to say, you can buy this. But here's the reason why. Objections can be devastating to some people because they've never had to deal with it or they don't know how to deal with it. We're weird people. We're very awesome people. We're salespeople. Most people cannot handle objections. After one or two, they're running. I've seen it. I've seen people that I thought would have been really good salespeople, but once they got too many objections and they didn't get no sales, it can be frustrating, guys. It's reality. I told you I'd tell you all the warts and the truth about selling. It ain't an easy career, but it's an awesome career. How to overcome price objection? Look, you got to sometimes break down how they're going to spend their money on a monthly basis. If you break it down and compare it to other things, like things they buy, if you look at reality, if you can fit it in their budget and you can break it down to where they say, well, you have cable bills, and some people smoke, they drink coffee, they spend all this extra money. But by investing in something that you can use, it's going to make your life better. You can help the customer see that their objection wasn't very relevant. And if you don't know the answer to objections, look them in the eye and say, that's a valid, very valid question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write this down, and I'll get back with you about this. But let me go ahead and tell you the rest about what we have to offer. And it's like they're watching you write something down. That's a sales ploy. That's also a technique to get the customer used to seeing you write stuff down. A lot of times that's like a smoke screen. They say, I can't afford it. Well, if you can show them the benefits and show them how it can fit in their budget and you can overcome their basic objections, you're going to be a good salesperson. I didn't say you're going to sell everybody. It's a numbers game. It really, really is. And if you're a salesperson and you talk over the phone or in person, door to door, business to business, you're going to have objections all the time. But remember, a lot of times they're generally all the same objections. Get your mentors, get your management to help you. They have a vested interest in you to be able to overcome these objections. And role playing, guys, it really works. You have to role play situations. You can't just go into a cell and go, here you go. They're going to look at it like you're a crazy person. My name is Gary Lee Stanley. I may be a little bit different, but the reason why is because I've been studying the craft of sales for a long time. I enjoy talking about it. I love everything about selling. And remember, what was our selling? How to overcome, those issues that are like tissues. They're called objections. If you have a very soft personality and you get offended or you get hurt very easily, maybe sales isn't for you. But if you got some backbone and you can handle people saying, no, I don't want it, I don't like it, I just can't use it, that's okay. That's what they're supposed to do. They don't want to be sold. They want you to help them buy something. But if we can just relax and don't get mad if they throw up objections, don't get frustrated. Just breathe in and say, wow, that's a valid concern. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, your objection makes a lot of sense. This is important to you, and I'm definitely going to answer that for you. You may not say it to them like that, but just relax and then just kind of like ask them, is that really important to you? And they say, yeah. And see, what you've just done was you opened up a communication and a way to have a conversation. And if you can show them that the objection is really not a big objection, you got the sale. It's true, man. I've been in sales. I've helped a lot of people, and I tell you, I like objections because I know the customer's involved. If they ain't asking questions, if they are not objecting, if they are not putting up any kind of a wall, you ain't selling. You don't have their attention. A lot of times people will have this glossy effect on their eyes. After a while, they go, damn, it's too much information. And then they'll say, well, I got to go. My significant other, my wife, my husband, I got to go get the kids and blah, blah, blah. But if you can get through that, you can get a sale. Remember, objections are important, and they really help us to hone our skills. If you can learn the skills of overcoming objections, you're going to be a really good salesperson. I didn't say you were going to sell everybody, but objections can be your friend. They're not bad. They're just another way for a customer to say, well, prove it to me. Show me. And you can do it. You know, my name is Gary Lee Stanley. We just had a very simple conversation about selling, how to overcome customers saying, I'm not interested. I don't want it. I can't afford it. I don't need it. Objections. They are awesome, bro, because that means if they're giving you objections, if you give them a reason why they should buy and you can overcome those objections, you got a great sale. So do me a favor, go out there and sell something. And remember, objections are not bad. They're just a doorway for us to close the sale. So do me a favor, go out there and sell something. And if you're not asking for the order, you ain't selling nothing. Overcoming objections. Yeah, did I help you? Go out there and sell something. Bye-bye.